Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Talking with Tyler. I'm your host, Tyler Skirmith. Tonight, we have a great podcast lined up. We have Nellie High School Athletic Director and Super Football Conference Young Man of the Year Commissioner Joe Pyro. We also have the head coach of the Pequannock High School football team, Mike Michella. And last but certainly not least, the 2024 Super Football Conference's Young Man of the Year award recipient, Henry Strubble. Henry, so I want to first start in congratulating you on winning such a prestigious award. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time out of your busy day to come on my podcast. So let's jump right into it. Joe, I want to first start with you. Tell us how the idea came about to create the Young Man of the Year initiative.
You know, that's a great question, Tyler. And to be quite honest with you, our steering committee, actually, we were meeting in my backyard, and Coach Jenkins, the AD from Bloomfield's on that steering committee. And we were talking about things that we can do to kind of, celebrate the student athletes of the SFC. And a lot of guys kept talking about, a Super 50 or top 100, so forth and so on. And Coach Jenkins mentioned, celebrating the kids that not only were great athletes, but great contributors to their community and contributors to their school community. And, it just kind of grew out of that. And I made the suggestion that we mimic it after the NFL's Man of the Year, the Walter Payton Man of the Year, and it grew from there. And it's really from where it started to where it is now. It's really done it's gone full circle. It really, really has. Once the Jets got a hold of it, they really helped us kind of take it to the next level.
That's really cool. I did some research on Steve DiGregorio, and it seems like he was a great person and coach. Tell us a little bit more about him and why you thought it was a fitting tribute to name him the award in his honor.
Outside of it, Steve DiGregorio and I go back a lot of years. In fact, my father was his, midget league, Pop Warner, or whatever you call it these days, football coach. And, so our relationship went full circle. When he and I were competing for the head job at Nutley back in 2004, 2005, and he got the job over me, and I called him up and I said, what do I need to do to get on your staff? And he said, you just did it. And we developed a great friendship and a great respect for each other because of it. As I really got to know Coach DiGregorio and you get to know what he's about, there was probably not a man I've ever met that has a greater character and class and deep caring for humanity and his fellow man. Like, he's the kind of guy that does the right things all the time, and he always was. Father of three. One of his sons is a severe special needs with a very, very rare disease that he put a lot of time into raising money for that disease, and he was just a consummate family man. It was kind of funny, and I remember my father telling me this story, or actually my Uncle Sam telling me the story, when he was in the 5th or 6th grade playing Pop Warner football. He was not talented at all. He was just a little chubby kid at the end of the bench, but he worked hard, and he was a hard worker. So my father and my uncle brought him on the team because he was a little bit of an underdog. He parlayed that into a great coaching career and a great teaching career and a great football career. He went on to play at Nutley High School and then to Muhlenberg University, and he worked for everything he ever had. Nothing was ever given to him. So, outside of the things that he did on the field as a teacher, as an educator, as a friend, as a family man, for what he's done for that that disease his son has. I mean, he embodies the Walter Payton Man of the Year. He really, really does. And it was not my idea to name the award after him. I had nothing to do with it, actually. It was one of his peers, one of his coaching peers, DJ Nymphus from Riverdale, actually suggested it. And I was fortunate enough to let him know that we were going to do it a couple of days before he passed. So it was, it was a special moment for both of us. But he embodies everything that this award is about, and that's why. And I get a little choked up when I talk about it. That's why, you know, this isn't just another trophy. This isn't just another. Give me a minute. This isn't just another award we give. This is something special. It's something special.
He seems like a great guy, and I'm sure his name will live on. So last question for you, Joe. So you know I'm a diehard Jets fan. How were you able to get the Jets to partner with the Super Football Conference?
The one of the guys that was on the executive committee, Ron Anello, coached the president of the New York Jets, and when we started the Super Football Conference, he reached out to Ron and said, "We want to get involved with this." And it's just the relationship grew from there. And I got to tell you something. I know what the Jets do on the field is not very, very impressive right now, but what the Jets do off the field, they're probably the best organization in the NFL. They really are.
So thank you, Joe, for those answers. I'm going to move to Coach Moschella. So congratulations, Coach, on an 8-3 season this past fall. After hearing about the Young Man of the Year award and how it was created, and who it is named in honor of, tell us why you chose Henry as the football player to represent the Pequannock Panthers.
So, everyone's kind of gotten to hear a lot about Henry's accolades recently. When I first met Henry, I think it was probably it was like the spring of 2019. I think you were in 6th grade, Henry, when Josie and Brooke were sophomores, right? Yeah. So I was coaching Henry's older sister in track and would see Henry practicing as well. So I got to know him a little bit from there. And then I started seeing, things pop up on Facebook, on like Pequannock Online, different town pages about Bikes by Hank, this, charitable organization that Henry started with help from, his father and his family, and really got rolling. So over the last couple of years, as this, the award kind of grew and we heard more about it each year, Henry was always in mind as someone who I thought was a perfect fit for this. He's an accomplished athlete, which is a part of the award and not the entire award. I think it's probably the least important part of the award, actually. But not just in football and in track as well. And not just through, Bikes by Hank, it's amazing what he's been able to do and what he's been able to provide for people, not just locally, but, nationally, even internationally. He's kind of benefited his immediate community and the greater community at large. But just his sense of kind of community and charity. He's helped with other charities like Grains of Hope and Mission of Hope. He's always been very helpful, just both in school, in the hallways, and on the football field. He's also a very accomplished student, which is has a lot to do with the process he's going through right now for admissions, which I don't know if we need to talk about. But Henry has some really cool things going on right now and has accomplished some great things as just a senior in high school already.
That's great stuff. Thanks, Coach. So, Henry, I want to congratulate you again on this prestigious honor. Tell us a little bit more about how you felt when you were nominated and then becoming a finalist and then being able to attend the award ceremony at MetLife Stadium. How did that feel for you?
Yeah. Well, first I want to say thank you for congratulating me. But yeah, I mean, going into it, obviously I was hoping I would make it to be one of the finalists. Because I'd seen what has happened the years before, like the years prior, like some of my upperclassmen like told me a little bit about it. 'Cause, they all thought like I would get nominated for our team. But yeah, it was great to first of all like have Coach Michelle first tell me that I was nominated in the first place, and then we got the email that I was nominated as one of the finalists, which was just really great because even making it that far is like an accomplishment in it of itself. And obviously, like I said, I'd been hoping that I would like win the entire thing, but I knew that there were going to be seven other kids that were just as qualified as me, which isn't really a bad thing. Obviously, it's good to know that there are other kids out there that are doing like very good, generous work for their communities. But yeah, like when I got there, like to the MetLife that day, just none of it really felt like it was actually happening because I'd like seen stuff before. I kind of knew what to expect, but it still kind of like blew me away. Like all this stuff I was getting, all the people I was able to like meet and talk to. And then of course, like when they announced my name, I didn't really like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just kind of like out of body experience as I was walking up to the stage. I mean, I was just trying to get my like suit jacket buttoned together and make sure my hands weren't sweaty, to, like shake the hands and everything. But yeah, it was great. And I mean, after hearing Mr. Pyro talk about the award and just about how he like knew Mr. DiGregorio here, it just makes it that much more special because obviously I'd done a little bit of research beforehand to kind of like know what the award was about, who Mr. DiGregorio was like as a person. But really hearing him talk about him like someone who knew him personally, it just kind of makes it even better now.
That's
You
awesome.
know, I don't. I have one question, Coach and Henry, because I never we never get to experience this part of the award.
Mhm.
We have all the information. We know who the winners are. We know everything. Coach, when I got up there and I announced that Henry was the winner, what was your initial reaction? I never get to hear from the winners' families and the coaches and the people in the school personnel. I never get to hear their reactions because a lot of times, we told Henry's mother. I believe the athletic director might have known, but we don't get to see or hear your reaction.
Right. So I did not know that Henry was the winner at that point. Right. Like I said, when I nominated him and I told the rest of our staff that we were nominating him, I said, I really believe that like Henry could be the guy who wins this whole thing, not just the nomination from our school. So, I was ready. I had my phone. I was filming you up at the podium. Like, if Henry won, I wanted to make sure that we were able to capture it and see it. So I saw that, and it's funny, like the guys know me as like, typically not getting like, I don't know, too emotional, too high or whatever. So I saw it, I cracked a big smile and was just, so happy for him and for other people getting to see kind of what he accomplished. And as I'm standing there filming, I'm keeping my cool. Really on the inside, I'm ecstatic, right, for Henry. Like I think this is an award where, for the most part, the coaches, I know for me, like I don't really get to take any credit for this. I think the biggest thing I did was write Henry's name down on that Google form. Like after that, my job was done. The rest was all him. But just the fact that I've known Henry for like 7 years at this point, coached him for 4 years of football. I'm going to be coaching him for 4 years of track. Like for a guy that I really have a good relationship with, good connection with, it was awesome to see him win an award that is not based on genetics or innate talent like a lot of the physical football awards are. This award is based on all things that he chose to do, right? So I think that just makes it so much more special too. So for me personally, like I was ecstatic when it was happening, even if some of his friends in the back were asking like, hey, why aren't you even happy, why aren't you jumping up and down and smiling? I was like, look, I'm happy.
It's kind of funny. We never really get like all the winners always really they're like cooler than the flip side of the pillow. Like they act like they've been there before. And it's really kind of cool. Just to kind of bring you into the loop a little bit, Tyler, and then I'll let you take on. I don't want to dominate the show here, but we get about 80 applicants from the 115 nominees. And it's a painstaking thing to go through, like to pick 7, 8 guys, because every one of the applications we get is as good, if not better, than the next. The 7 finalist applications were really fantastic, but the one thing that really set Henry's aside from everybody else's was the fact that his community service got the entire community involved. He engaged the entire community. He motivated people to do good things. You know what I mean? That's where he made a unique difference. It wasn't just about him. It wasn't about him getting, hours on a resume, or him doing stuff to fill college applications, put on college applications. You could tell that he was passionate about this because he engaged and motivated an entire community. And I think that's something that really should be highlighted. Now I'm going to stop now, Tyler. You got the show.
That was a great segment there, Joe. So back to you, Henry. Just to receive this award, you have to make an impact on the field, but just as important, off. I did a little research and looked up your Bikes by Hank Facebook page. Can you tell the listening audience what Bikes by Hank is?
Yeah, of course. So to put it in like plain terms, because it's kind of complicated. Actually, not really, but in essence, it started when I was in probably about sixth grade, the summer going into sixth grade. And with the help of my dad, we would just take old junk bikes and we'd fix them up and sell them. And at first, it was just for me to like make a profit, like for myself. But as I started to do it more, probably about like 2 or 3 months later, I started to like get more bikes. People started to give them to me, and I realized that I should probably be doing something like better with the money that I was getting because people were like giving me their bikes. I thought that I should do my best to try to give back. So that's when I began to sell bikes and donate the money. And my first sale was Memorial Day of 2019, I think it was. And I sold the bike and I donated the money to Wounded Warrior, which is a not nonprofit charity for like wounded veterans. And ever since I did that sale, there's kind of like no turning back. Like people saw it and they showed me so much support, and I just knew that I had to keep going with it. And I really like started to embrace it and really started to enjoy it a lot. Because, I got to like spend time bonding with my dad, like while we were fixing bikes. And obviously I got to help out the community and so many people who like need it. But I think I kind of strayed away from the question there. But yeah, I fix and sell bikes and I donate the money to various different charities. Like people recommend them to me, or sometimes me and my dad will do a little bit of research to find places that might need it or places that I like want to support. So yeah.
So which ones did you actually support? What charities? I heard the veterans one.
Yeah, there's a lot. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. I have like a whole Google Doc with all of them, but I'd say the most prominent ones, like in the community, would probably be donated to the police department, the fire department, Boys and Girls Club, the hospital, a few animal shelters, some homeless shelters, um, where else? First aid squad, the library, and I've donated to a bunch of other places like outside of my community as well. Sorry, I'm kind of blanking on all of them. But
Okay.
and on top of that, also like outside of just the donations, we're able to keep like bikes out of landfills, which is a big thing. Like we take them, if we're not able to use them, we do take them to a recycling place where they'll be turned back into like scrap metal. And we also donate some of them to Ghana, like in Africa. Um, but those are just some to name a few.
That's amazing. If someone wanted to donate a bike or parts to contribute to your cause, how can someone donate?
Yeah, there are a couple of different ways. We prefer if people like message us beforehand through like Facebook, or if they know us personally to like let us know. But most of the time, people just kind of drop off the bikes at our house without warning, which is fine because I mean, we'll take anything we can get. But sometimes it gets a little out of hand, especially like right before like bike season, which is like the start of spring. People start leaving bikes at our house like crazy. So yeah, most of the time people are just kind of leaking our address online to tell them where to drop their old bikes off. But it gets annoying. Like it sometimes gets a little annoying, like when I come home and I just see like five new bikes. But it's honestly great because when I like take a step back and realize that there's like that many people that have me in mind and are able to like they're eager to contribute because they know that like just by dropping off a bike, they're kind of helping their community in a way.
That's cool. So I heard the recipient gets 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. I heard you're taking your dad there, and I know you're also a Detroit Lions fan. They're playing a tough Commanders team this weekend with possible Rookie of the Year candidate Jaden Daniels. So, what is your prediction for that game and the future after that?
Obviously I want it to be like a 42-0 blowout, but I think it's probably more realistically going to be a pretty close game. I mean, I'm hoping the Lions are going to have a decent amount of like impactful starters back from like IR and from like injury, so I'm hoping they can really make an impact. But yeah, I'm just going to be wearing my Jahmyr Gibbs jersey and praying that they can pull through and make it to the divisional round and then hopefully to the Super Bowl. So
They look really good this year. I think one of the best Lions teams in a while.
yeah,
Last question. Actually, two more. So I noticed you are a Morris County discus champion. Have you been working out this winter in the weight room to try to claim this title again?
yeah, I'm always like discus is my top priority, like at all times. Like it's my main sport. That's I'm trying to get recruited for to play in college. But yeah, I've been throwing discus since probably about fifth grade because my dad realized that I sucked at baseball and he told me I needed to do another spring sport. So he got me into track, hired me the coaches, and like it's the same thing with the bike business. Like I really just kind of embraced it and got into it, and now it's something I take super seriously. So I've been like lifting, I've been in the weight room, and I've been going to all my coaches for discus, trying to improve because yeah, I really want to excel in discus this year. I've been chasing the school record for since freshman year, so I'm gonna get it this year.
What's your school record?
It's 170 and 7 inches, I think.
Oh wow. What's your best throw?
163 and 6, maybe.
Not far off. So I heard you want to play in college. So what are your plans for college? Where do you want to go right now?
Yeah, my number one choice right now is the Naval Academy in Annapolis. I've been really like that's kind of been if anyone has like talked to me about college, like they know that like that's really the only college that I say because it's the only thing really on my mind. Um, but other than that, I've applied to a couple other schools like URI, Michigan, Virginia Tech, Rutgers. So hoping I could get into those. But if I get into Naval Academy, that's where I'm going to be going.
We actually saw the Naval Academy play at MetLife Stadium against Notre Dame. Navy
Yeah.
didn't play well, but it was still fun to go to. So before we sign off for the evening, I wanted to give anybody else the floor to say their final comment.
Also, it was it's an honor to talk about Henry. I think having an award winner is an honor as a coach, right? But happy that you had us on and gave us a chance to kind of talk about Henry's accomplishments a little bit more. So thank you for that, Tyler.
No problem.
Henry, just to, I don't know if they told you this, the Jets give you 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. They fly you out there. You stay at the NFL hotel, but that with those 2 tickets comes the game, but all the fanfare that comes with it, like the parties and the tailgates and they give you the whole Megillah. I mean, it's not just you
All
going out
right.
and going to the game. Like you're going to be rubbing elbows with some pretty big time people, and
Okay.
we got some SFC garb coming your way pretty soon too. So make sure you represent. The whole idea is when you go to those big parties, we want everybody to ask like what the SFC is, and make sure you say with pride, we are the largest high school football conference in the country.
Well,
You know what I mean? Nobody's
yeah.
bigger than us.
That's awesome.
No, nobody's bigger than us. So, and because we're so big, we're able to do these kind of things. You know, we raise a lot of corporate sponsorship, and we give all that money back to the kids. I know you're not, believe it or not, I've gotten a couple of requests for you to go on some YouTube shows and different podcasts, which we'll talk about next week. But we encourage it only because I think you're the 4th or 5th state man of the year, and with this request we get coming in, it's really starting to get legs. It's starting to, it's getting out there, and the more it gets out there, the better it is for everybody. Better it is for you, better it is for conference, better it is for the kids, coaches, and everybody.
Yeah.
It's, really couldn't be happier. Tyler, you're doing a hell of a job, big guy.
Thank you. So thank you all for being on Talking with Tyler. I really do appreciate it. It was a nice conversation I had. And I look forward to seeing all the great things that the Super Football Conference has in store for next season. And Henry, good luck in track in the spring. And I wish you nothing but the best in college. So thank you all for listening to Talking with Tyler. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.